Ireland's mighty Michael van Gerwen, who also happens to be the #1 in the world. Is MVG on an inexorable collision course with Peter Wright in the final once again? It would be the third time in 4 years that those two have met in the final of the European Darts Open. Or can Mensur Suljovic spring a surprise and derail MVG's charge to another title? Or can Rob Cross continue his excellent form and finally make his first Pro Tour final of the year by beating Peter Snakebite Wright? 3 more games to come in the opening Euro Tour event of 2019. It is first to 7 in the semi-finals, first to 8 in the final, of course. I'm Dan Dawson, Chris Murphy alongside me. For semi-final #1, it is Mighty Mike versus the Gentle.
Yes, and Michael van Gerwen might not have been here, had to survive a match start against Gerwen Price.
First leg is Michael to throw first. Game on.
Who should have given himself 2 darts to beat MVG, but just couldn't get over the line, and MVG inflicted a 15th consecutive defeat.
Why didn't he get 2 match darts?
Because he missed the big number.
But you don't want to do that, do you?
Should never do it, because you will be punished, and Price had 1 for the match, as did Michael van Gerwen, but he hit after Price had missed. The 118 checkout was MVG's 4th ton-plus out of the tournament. Mensur Suljovic has reached the semi-finals without hitting a single 3-figure out.
Didn't miss it at all. But he has been absolutely deadly on that favourite double 14. Didn't miss it at all yesterday when he beat Matty Denon. He used it 3 times. I think he might have missed it once against Joe Cullen this afternoon, and he was clinical on it against James Wade again in what was quite the display from Mensur Suljovic. It was not quick, but my word.
Time he does not feel.
Yes, shenanigans on the stage.
I wonder why it took so long to get that leg in the back
this weekend, but
he has got it.
I just wonder if that played into the hands of Michael
Bit of an
van Gerwen a
indifferent
little
start
bit,
with these two. I was expecting
the Inquisition went
a little
on
bit
long
more
after the darts
fireworks on
and
this.
stopped
And
being
of course,
lobbed.
Peter opens up with a full house.
Suljovic might have
downhill
not
a bit from there.
Might not have had as much practice after that match as he would have.
We were talking about 9 daughters yesterday on the European
But by his
Tour.
choice.
One that came up was Mark Webster's.
Well,
the
when these two
Inquisition
meet,
went on long after the darts
Michael van
and
Gerwen
stopped
does
being
tend to
lobbed.
win, but you can say that about
Suljovic
Michael van Gerwen
might
playing
have not
anybody in the world.
Might not have had as much practice after that match as he would have.
But there have been some notable victories for Mensur.
But by his choice.
One, just before the Grand Prix at a Players' Championship event there. You're talking when these two
18
meet,
months ago,
Michael van Gerwen does tend to win, but you can
what
say that
really
about
sticks in my
Michael van Gerwen
mind
playing
was on the
anybody in
European
world. Tour, single finger at the Glass Palast. Back in, but there have been some 2015 where Mensur won at 6-4 despite MVG averaging 111 event there. You're talking 18 months ago in Ireland. But the one that really sticks in my mind was on the European Tour, single finger at the Glass Palast. Back in 2015,
11.37
where Mensur won at 6-4 despite MVG averaging 111.
109.7, got him over the line.
Hello.
In that one. Well, yes, that was the highest
like that
ever
here.
losing average on the European Tour.
Tops.
111.37
Give it enough.
to be precise. Suljovic and Gerwen looking at double 6, got him over to take the first leg. In that one. Remember, you need to get more than 6 in the semi-final.
Like that here, we're in for a drama.
First to 7.
Tops. Didn't give it enough.
Return to your point. I'm going to be a little bit facetious. I still might be down. You know, you said that to take the first leg. Michael van Gerwen. Remember, you need to get more than 6 in the semi-final. It's first to 7. Guess who he doesn't normally win against? Go on, let's have that little quiz. Throw me a little bit facetious. I still might be against any second. You know it.
James Hubbard.
Michael van Gerwen normally wins against anyone. Well, James Hubbard is not on that list. Guess who he doesn't normally win against? Go on, let's have that little quiz. Throw me a few names who've got winning records against MVG. Michael van Gerwen, having played in
James Hubbard. Go on, hit me up.
Toon Grieve.
Toon Grieve, yes.
James Hubbard is not on that list having records. Richie Burnett.
Ooh.
Peter Manley. I only see one player who's never lost. Kurt Stompey. Michael van Gerwen, having played him more than once. I think there's a pattern emerging from all these names.
Yeah, I think
Toon
they played
Grieve,
Michael
yes,
van
of
Gerwen
course.
version 1.0.
Other players have winning records.
MVG is on
Richie
at least
Burnett.
version 3.7.
Peter
right
Manley.
now. I think even the great Peter Manley might struggle to handle it.
I think there's a pattern emerging from all these names.
Yeah, I think they play Michael Van Gerwen version 1.0.
Aaron Monk
MVG is on at least version 3.7 right now. And I think even the great Peter Manley might struggle. Decent set-up shot, but Mensur, having missed a dart for the 120 check out. Has a look at the 107.
Aaron Monk leads the head-to-head 5-4.
I was going to say Aaron as well. Can't produce it. Decent set-up shot, but Mensur, having missed a dart for the 120 check out. Has a look at the 107.
Okay.
Well, you can see the thinking. 75 with his last two darts with the left tops.
So for
It's got a bit wrong, so is that.
Ton plus check out, but that's not going to happen. So he missed twice in 3 darts, Michael Van Gerwen.
Okay. And he missed from Mensur? Not this time. Well, you can see the thinking. 1-1 in this with his last two darts with the left tops. The game that's got a bit stuck in my mind when these two met in Sindelfingen a few years back.
So he missed twice.
Not only stuck in my mind because of the ridiculous numbers, the record-breaking, not this time, losing out from MVG. 1-1 on this one. Now, but we also saw some shenanigans when these two met in Sindelfingen because Mensur basically not only stuck in my mind because earlier on he played the ridiculous numbers, the record-breaking losing almost too slow to see with the naked eye. 111. And he was doing all kinds of things like addressing towing the hockey and then going, actually no, I'm going to go have a drink.
Was earlier.
Going to the water table, then coming back.
Just had a little whisper in my ear.
They actually bumped into each other at one point in that game by the water table.
Peter Wright is it 2 competitive 9 darters on the tour?
MVG typically just tried to get on with business and towing the hockey and then go, actually no, I'm going to have a drink. But certainly frosty looks cast between the pair. They actually bumped into each other at one point in that game by the water table.
140.
MVG typically just tried to get on with business. Nothing of that nature just yet. Not sure there are any words exchanged, but certainly frosty looks cast between tops again. And again, he's low, and you can see the frustration for the big Austrian.
And Gerwen manoeuvring his way around that dart, and that's how it's done. Van Gerwen's World Cup teammate, the retiring Remy van Barneveld, also beat him with a 111 average on the Euro Tour.
That same weekend. Just 24 hours between them.
There was, and the one with, well, a couple with the most disparity in the averages involved Peter Wright. He was beaten 6-3 by Kim Huybrechts with 110 to Huybrechts' 98.71. But the big one was 2 years ago,
Benito
at the German Darts Open in the final, when Benito averaged 110.5 and old Snakey sneaked in 6-5 with a 97.5
in a final. Missed one dart at double at the start of the final, did not miss another one after that, and won the title with 121 checkout. It was one of the most incredible muggings I have ever seen on the European Tour.
Could be in a final again tonight. He plays in the second semi against Rob Cross, which means that we do have the world's numbers 1, 2 and 3 in the semi-finals.
And the world number 8.
In fact, has been a really strong showing from the top 10, hasn't it? Or the top 9, shall we say, in the absence of Anderson.
94.
104 for MVG to open up a 2-leg lead. Not to be.
96. 64.
Van Gerwen earlier today took just 9 minutes to see off Jermaine Watermainer. He's been on stage about that long now, hasn't he?
He has, and he's not playing anywhere near that level. Double top. And Mensur is consistently low on that double top. He's really struggling to find it.
Have they moved it? And Gerwen seems to be finding the doubles, and he's getting closer to that one, but he's slipped to the wrong side.
Mensur 120.
Van Gerwen left shaking his head. He is not happy. He's not happy with the way he's playing. He's not happy that the fact this game could be level in a moment.
Well, he struggled up north, but he's found double five, and a classic Suljovic celebration of stopping halfway up the hockey.
100.
Again, he's back at the table. He's got a bit of chalk on there, hasn't he? That he presses his fingers in to keep a grip of the darts.
Yeah, and you can see that movement, that trigger movement he's got. He rubs the chalk on his fingers, and then he's turning the dart around in his fingers to just make sure that it's got a coating of it. I think it's safe to say that by the end of this match, it's unlikely we'll be seeing 111 plays 109 average.
Yeah, neither player producing anything like what's gone before. Van Gerwen over a ton in wins against Watermena and Price, and not far off it in a 6-1 victory over Mervyn King yesterday.
61.
And Suljovic has been decent enough in defeats of Dennant, Cullen and Wade, the last of the three, in which he averaged 102.5.
Well, the ominous thing about Van Gerwen is that over the course of the tournament, he's been building upon his average, hasn't he? He's put about 3 points on his average on each display. Certainly needed every single one of those against Gerwen Price earlier. And every single one of those was needed by Mensur Suljovic to get himself to a checkout.
Suljovic's 8th, 180 of the weekend. How about the 161? Not to be, but the way they've been throwing at double, every chance he might come back.
And he does have the chance to come back. And for the third leg running on MVG's throw, Mensur is looking at a 1-treble combination finish just over the 100 to get the break. But this time he doesn't even get a dart at the double. Yeah, and it's the one time he's pinned tops.
You're a cruel man, Dan, laughing at Mensur's misfortune. Van Gerwen misfiring again on the outer ring. Before this match, he'd been checking out around 58%. That will be taking a tumble.
Of all the players in the world, throwing at double 9, Mensur has got to be one of the most confident, because it's right next to that double 14, which he's barely missed all weekend, and he's having the time of his life, Mensur.
But he's throwing first.
He's throwing shapes.
Is he throwing Michael Van Gerwen out of the European Darts Open? Well, he hasn't quite got the same animation that James Wade had at the back of the stage.
Well, you're not seeing steam come out of his ears, for one.
97.
And actually, I remember a final between this pair on the Euro Tour in which Mensur Suljovic admitted that he attempted to slow Michael Van Gerwen down, and Michael's answer was, well, at least he does admit it, because they all do it, and they all say they don't.
And look, Mensur, there are undoubtedly times where Mensur is doing it to disrupt his opponent. Sometimes he's doing it just to try and raise his own game. And I think sometimes it can be a bit of both. But there was no doubt, absolutely no doubt in my mind, what was going on against James Wade.
Well, I remember a match, and I didn't recall it while commentating on the Wade-Suljovic match, but I remember a match at the Grand Slam a few years ago where Evan van Barneveld decided to take a little bit of, as he called it, concentration time for himself against the machine, and that caused it to boil over as well. No handshake at the end of that one. But the difference is that, really, James probably should have known what to expect against Suljovic.
Well, it happened 10 days ago and he didn't like it. What did he think was going to happen?
What could happen here is that Suljovic could open up a two-leg lead because he's got half a dozen darts to tidy up this 1-2-5.
Well, a bit listless from Michael van Gerwen, isn't it? There's no zip, there's no bounce, there's no aggression. Not the sort of stuff we saw against Gerwin Price, where it was red hot. Nearly wasn't enough. And finally, Mensur pins double top at the end of a leg, and he raises his palms to the skies.
Well, he's enjoying himself, as you said. Not sure Michael van Gerwen is right now. The silver lining for MVG is that Suljovic needs 3 more legs.
He is loved, this man.
The last time I saw van Gerwen produce a performance similar to this on the Euro 2 was a defeat to Willie O'Connor last year. Well, that was straight away. It wasn't in the semi-final where he'd been building up to brilliant things.
And to be fair, I think Willie was probably playing at a higher standard than Mensur is right now. Willie was playing some really good stuff that weekend. Last year, of course, saw a number of players go and make their first Euro Tour finals. Willie O'Connor, Steve Lennon, Rapid Ricky Evans, Gerwin Price and Johnny Clayton winning them. The Euro Tour very much a land of opportunity, but here it is 4 massive names battling it out for the title at the European Darts Open. And when you look at the roll of honour over the years in this tournament, Van Gerwen's won it 3 times, Peter Wright has won it twice, Robert Thornton, the all-time great, and Raymond van Barneveld, the all-time great, have won it. And the finalists have been Simon Whitlock, Kim Huybrechts, Dave Chisnell, Mervyn King, and the guys who just mentioned, Peter Wright.
Yes. But again, on the outer ring, Michael van Gerwen struggling. Now missed 10 at double in this match.
Well, all the time in the world to cut the gap to just 1 leg.
On the top leg, Michael van Gerwen. With legs Mensur to throw first.
Remember, first to 7. Mensur needs to get an extra leg, and the extended format was introduced last year. That's now been mirrored on the Pro Tour, the Players' Championship series of events. But we had the very strange situation last year where Peter Wright was the first player in the final to 6 legs, the first player in the final to 7 legs, but he was not the first to 8. The new target.
180.
Maybe Van Gerwen is starting to rouse himself. First 180 of the match for him.
Yeah, if I remember rightly, it's his first 3-treble visit at all. Has hit fewer 180s than Suljovic, but he's hit more 170-somethings than anyone in this tournament. And now he's looking for a 170-something here.
174.
A 174 will certainly do, and it leaves 147. Mighty Michael van Gerwen has already hit 2 9-darters on the tour this year.
Could become the first man to hit 2 on the European Tour.
60. 147.
For a 9-dart leg and a 147 break. And he gets it! Michael van Gerwen in sensational style. A 9-darter for MVG, and he's found another way to do it.
147, the perfect leg, incorporating the bullseye. Is there anything this man cannot do on a dartboard? In a game where he's been bumbling along, throwing nothing like the stuff we've seen from him over the course of the tournament, he has ignited and roused himself in the most spectacular fashion. 180, 174, 57 bull tops.
Well, where did it come from? Van Gerwen was struggling, couldn't find a thing before that. The audacity to go for the ball with dart number 2.
46.
And he was unsettled earlier on in the match, but he certainly found his rhythm and his range now.
433.
This man is a genius. Within the parameters of this game, he is a bona fide genius.
437.
But the crowd have been stunned into silence, thanks to the perfect leg from Mighty Mike. Credit to Mensur Suljovic as well. He seemed to enjoy that as much as anyone. And now he's going back up top.
Michael van Gerwen has turned this game around. It looked as if he might be sleepwalking out of the European Darts Open. And his chances of winning the title for a 4th time might just be drifting slowly away from him.
89.
But a perfect 9-dart leg, and he is in the ascendancy.
Yeah, followed by another
100.
3-figure checkout.
Well, there are plenty of times where we've seen players hit perfect 9-darters and then they've just crumbled. It's been too much for them. But Michael van Gerwen, that's not going to happen. He reels off perfect legs like it's nothing. It's his 3rd in competitive play this year.
I've seen that route attempted, well, almost attempted. I've seen Peter Manley a couple of times go tops and then bull, yeah. Missed it, of course.
Of course. Well, maybe that's come from you mentioning that Manley has a winning record against MVG at the start of the game.
I'm not sure MVG will be aware of Manley's exploits, but he's looking for a 3rd consecutive ton plus out. That's not going to happen, but he's getting closer and closer to putting Suljovic out.
Well, that 9-darter, it's just been like a punch to the guts from Suljovic. It's just taken all the wind out of his sails. Double 4. Yes, 15-darter. 6-4. He was 4-2 down in this game, Mighty Mike. He managed to hold his throw to bring it back to 4-3, and then Mensur Suljovic has just watched him produce the 9-darter and had nothing else, and Van Gerwen is fuming. His average is now lifted to above 95, and again, it's anybody else, and you go, yeah, solid enough. But it is one golden leg that has turned this game around. It was a real trudge for MVG.
93.
Well, Mensur is a beaten man, I think.
Well, you may well be interviewing Michael at the end of the evening's action, and it's got to be a question that he's got to be asked, isn't it? Is he just now trying to complete as many different combinations for 9-dart finishes as he can think of?
Well, he managed to hit a 9-darter on the tour earlier this year without using a 180.
Well, Suljovic has used a 180, but he could use a few more. Yeah, 'cause 2 darts in hand, 90 left. That's not the way that MVG would usually go.
Well, Van Gerwen's toying with Mensur here because normally he looked at the bull last start there to guarantee a finish, but he was trying to leave 1-3-2, his favourite finish. This is MVG in exhibition mode.
He was looking like he was going to lose.
Yeah.
10 minutes ago, and now he's playing like he can't lose.
134. Mensur 82.
Well, he might not be able to because Mensur looks like a man devoid of belief, has done for the last 2 or 3 legs. And yes, that is a very clean kill for 2 darts and a breaker throw. There could be life in this game. I'm immediately reminded of Jamie Lewis at the World Championship against Daryl Gurney, who literally gave up in that game. It was in the deciding set tiebreak, and he thought, well, I can't win this. And as soon as he stopped trying, he accidentally hit a 180, and the game started turning. Found himself throwing at a double for the match and nicked it.
57.
Suljovic won't stop trying, but there is a chance that he could try a little too hard. All the darts were very close to the treble, none of them in. And he needs to find at least a couple this visit, you would think. Or Van Gerwen can start to put his foot down. He does find 2.
MVG, you know what he wants to hit here. And he's got it. And he's got it. And it leaves 170 for the match. And a game where he has already hit the perfect leg. Can he hit the biggest finish in the game to close it out?
We saw it from Justin Pipe earlier on. Can Van Gerwen add the big fish to his armour?
Well, I can assure you there would have been no laying up if the first 2 trebles went in. But that is the next best prize for MVG, who will return. He looked a shadow of the world #1 in the opening stages of this game. But one moment of perfection, one perfect 9-dart leg has turned this game around. And MVG, the 3-time winner of the European Darts Open, is through to the final once again. It could well be a